Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Found in Interpretation Podcast. Once again, I'm one of your co-hosts, Alain Breton, and I'm here with Brian. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. And we're also joined here today with Sandra Giroux. How are you, Sandra?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me today.
Our pleasure. Now, don't forget, everyone, like, share, and subscribe. Now, let's kick it. Okay, so we'll start with the intro. So, Sandra Giroux is a Florida certified court interpreter, passionate mentor to aspiring court interpreters, and founder of Lingua Maya Press. She holds a bachelor's in English and a master's in Spanish and a certificate in translation and interpreting. With over 20 years as a foreign language educator, she now specializes in court interpreting and legal translation. She is a member of the American Translators Association, the National Association of Judiciary Interpreters and Translators, and the American Association of Interpreters and Translators in Education, and is currently preparing to publish 2 manuscripts. First, a guide for future court interpreters, and a personal story called Always Forever Friends. You can learn more at linguamaya.com. Did I miss anything?
No, everything is perfect. Thanks.
So, can you tell us a bit how you started your career as in interpretation?
In interpretation, years ago when I went to college in Ecuador, South America, I started a bachelor in languages to major in English. And when we had all the students were gathered at the auditorium, I saw an interpreter, stand-up interpreter, who interpreted everything in English. And I said, I want to do that. And I did not realize that what I was going to study, because that was when I entered college, it was to be a teacher of English as a foreign language, not as an interpreter. And then over 20 years passed, and I had the opportunity when I heard, oh, I had been a teacher all those years. And then when I lived in Tampa, Florida, I heard that Mary Aponte was offering classes or sessions to introduce court interpretation to the public. So I said, this is my chance. I want to learn about it. And I did. And she was my mentor. And I learned, I did my observations, not 20 hours, but many, many hours to overcome the feeling of intimidation when you are in a courtroom. And I did it until I mastered it and I loved it. So I have to say thank you to Mary Aponte, my mentor at that time. And now I am a mentor to aspiring court interpreters.
Excellent. So you have your inspiration from back then, and then you're now using that to help our colleagues in the court interpretation specifically, or other.
Yes,
Okay, in court
specifically court
interpretation,
interpretation, yes.
and specifically in Florida or throughout the United States, or
It's nationwide. Since
nationwide.
nowadays, yeah, we use Zoom or just emailing. It's nationwide, yes.
Excellent. And what does mentoring look like? Is it are you applying the same methods that Maria Ponte did for you, or are you like personalizing it, or how does that look? What does that look like?
Well, we grew in our different styles. We have different styles of teaching, and what does it look like? Mentoring what? This is nationwide. It could be worldwide. If there are students who are planning to come to the US, to live in the US, and work as court interpreters, they can always reach out. But basically, it's for the US because almost all states except one in the United States follows the same procedures. We don't follow the same procedures with other countries because the judicial system varies and the laws are applied differently. But yeah, it can be 21 in this country.
Okay.
So, and so when you say you mentor, is it something that you advertise all the time, or is it more on a one-on-one basis when someone approaches you?
I have to advertise it so that people get to know where to find me, and it is a one-on-one approach because being remote, nationwide, it accommodates to different people's schedules and location, and it's easier to do it one-on-one and in writing.
And is it on language specifically, or is it just or is it also including like the way that you should present yourself in court, or what exactly does the mentorship include?
Yeah, it covers, you mean the scope, right? It covers what we as court interpreters need to know, which is general vocabulary, legal proceedings, how to navigate courtroom proceedings, ethical responsibilities, different scenarios. Um, in the you apply ethics on the job, different ways to deal with problems that may arise.
So do you still do court interpretation, or you specifically focus on mentoring?
Right now, I'm just mentoring.
Okay, sounds good. And then, so you're mentoring four court interpreters throughout the country, and in English and Spanish, like in your languages, or in many different languages?
It is language neutral since
Okay.
my approach is basically to the beginning of their career, because many uh, people or students who want to start, if they try to do all this process alone, is kind of discouraging. You need a mentor, and yeah, that covers that part, the initial. But I can go throughout the whole process, except for preparation for the oral exam. I prepare them to pass the written exam, which is the first one, but not to the oral exam because I have many colleagues out there who already have dedicated resources to prepare students to pass that second exam. And then the rest I can continue with mentees and they reach out to me anytime, whenever they want. They don't follow the whole process. They come and go as they need me.
I see. So it's on an as needed basis. Is there like, do they have to register to be, um, I guess,
Yeah,
in your attendance
yes,
list?
they send me an email and then I tailor the mentorship to their needs. So that's basically it. They send me an email is the first contact, and then we see if the person wants to continue, we do. If no, I respond to the questions they may have, and if they feel comfortable to go ahead on their own, then they do it. If no, I walk with them throughout the process.
And what do court interpreters need the most? Is it more like self confidence, or um, to know the legal proceedings in the United States?
Yes, they need to know the principles of professional ethics like accuracy, confidentiality, and uh, and many other skills like the ability to stay calm in court proceedings the ability to recognize that they are not part of the proceedings, they are conduits of the proceedings so that the defendant understands what's going on and the judge also understands what the witnesses or the defendant says to them.
Can you explain the difference between being part and being a conduit? Because I've never done court interpreting inside a trial. And at first, I would have imagined that I would have been part of it. As a conduit, you're still part of it because every once in a while the judge can interact with the interpreter. So can you help me distinguish the difference?
Yes, you are not a part. I meant to say you are not a party, like the defendant, the defense, and the prosecution, the judge. You are not a party to the case. So there are cases when they are very intense that if you are not strong enough, you cry with them because of the emotionally charged situations. But you have to remember as a court interpreter that you are not a party. You are there to interpret. That's all. That's how you are a conduit. That you just convey meanings, um, between parties and that's it. And also, you are an officer of the court. That is true. You are physically present there, but ironically, you have to be kind of invisible because, like when interpreters interpret for a defendant through equipment, let's say I have a microphone and the defendant has headsets, and that person hears me, and I speak in very, very low volume voice. Only the defendant can hear me. I don't interrupt the proceedings. The lawyers, the parties are speaking. I'm just transmitting or conveying what is being said. That's all.
So it's simultaneous inside court interpreting
Yes, that's
rather
correct.
than consecutive.
Consecutive is used for witness testimony. That is the case when it is used, or also for mediations. That is different settings, though.
Now, is there something for in the United States for judges and lawyers to have some professional development on how to work with interpreters? Do you know anything about that?
Yes, yes, there are guidelines that have been written by the state, in my case, by the state of Florida and the other states also by their states. And there is a big book, the benchmark for judges. And the judges are the ones who have it so that they read and learn how to work with us. But there are also court interpreters that are very proactive in putting together programs to teach judges in case that they haven't gotten acquainted with that benchmark. Um, about how to work with them because many things are theoretical and at the time of, let's say, a trial, we don't think of theory. We need to get them acquainted of how we work, that if the proceedings are getting too fast, it is going to be a challenge for the interpreter, and there are ways to tell the judge to ask the speaker, like the attorney, to slow down so that the interpreter can do their job.
Okay.
Well, I'm guessing the more the side that is not as familiar would be, let's say, the defendant's lawyer. Because maybe, let's say, the prosecutor gets to prosecute and interacts with interpreters, but as a defendant, maybe they're not always used to it. Is that assumption right?
That's right. That's right. And they learn as they go. Um, they don't realize that sometimes they speak too fast, and we need them to slow down. So the interpreter asks the judge to instruct the attorney to slow down so that the interpreter can do their job. And that's how we deal with each other.
Okay. And how long were you a court interpreter before you became a mentor?
Um, for about 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Oh, no,
And
court interpreter, no, it's a little over. That was within the judicial circuit. But before that, I did freelance work as a court interpreter about 2 years. It's a short career for me because I was mostly in education, and that's why I love to teach, to mentor others. And but I got it quickly. When I got into interpretation, I loved it, and yeah, I
is
wanted
it
to go in. Mhm.
is it the reason why you moved from Ecuador to Florida, or
No, no, no. I moved because I have my closest family here in Florida.
I see. Okay. Okay. Were you an interpreter in Ecuador as well, or no?
No, no, I was a teacher.
You were a teacher in Ecuador. Okay.
Yes.
In Quito?
No, in Guayaquil.
In Guayaquil. Okay, cool. I've always wanted to go to Ecuador. I've been to Peru, which is just south, but never Ecuador.
Yes.
But
Very similar, very nice country.
yeah, yeah, I hear beautiful things. And so yeah, so then you did 6 years of court interpretation, and then you did mentorship. And now how old is your agency, the mentorship agency?
It's new. It's just a few months old.
Wow, just a few months. Wow.
Yes.
And how's enrollment looking? If
As I said, they come and go. They contact me a lot through email, the way it's supposed to be. And for the most part, while I'm doing this as a full-time job, now full-time freelance professional, it's being more as needed, as they need. But I also mentored aspiring court interpreters within the judicial circuit, and that was more of a steady group that I
okay.
had.
So it's very different from like a structured, say like a university program where like people have to come for specific courses and follow courses and pass an exam. And the mentorship, it's more like uh y-
Informal.
yeah, more informal. Like you come and go as you please, and when you need it,
It
then
is.
you're there kind of like to help them and support them, and like you're offering that crutch in case something happens.
Yes, it is. However, while I was as a staff interpreter within the judicial circuit, I did launch a program nationwide via Zoom with the structure of a college class, with a syllabus and everything, with tests, with with a lot of similarities with college classes. And that lasted about 5 months and a half. And I did have Mary Aponte, my mentor when I started. She co-taught with me. I asked her to join me and she did a great job with me.
Oh, cool.
And so you said that in the beginning, you said that you tailor to every individual need, but can you, you must still have a structure in order to prepare your mentees. What is that structure?
Yeah, there are steps that they need to take, but some of the thing when I said as they need is because some of them have already taken the first step and they just need clarification of some proceedings or procedures, excuse me. But the structure is they first um, register for the orientation workshop. They have to follow the instructions from the state, from the office that regulates court interpretation in their state, and that they post a calendar of events and they attend those 2 days for orientation. And once they finish, they conclude that part, then they register to take the written exam. And for that, they need preparation about 3 months, maybe, or two. It depends on each person, depending on the time that they have. So the structure goes on like that. They prepare, they focus only on learning that vocabulary, kind of the one they use for SAT or ACT exams for college admissions, and they need to learn. We learn together the legal proceedings, the ethics, and all that is part of the written exam. And that's why I have the book um, coming up that I wrote because I know what they need and they don't waste time going here and there, not knowing what to read or what to learn. That book has what they need. So once they pass the reading, then they start their preparation for the oral exam, which typically takes about 6 months. I would say 6 months because it's hard. You guys are interpreters too, and they need to know or train the brain to do simultaneous interpretation, consecutive and side translation. So they don't learn that in 1 month or 2 months. It takes about six at least, and then they go take the exam and then they do the registration with the state in order to have credentials, and then after that they get their certification and things like that. Yeah, it is
Okay.
structured.
And this is you were mentioning it. This is the guide for future court interpreters, right?
Correct.
And there is another book, or is it more like I'm not sure if it's a book, but the publication, which is a personal story that you call Always Forever Friends. Does that have anything to do with interpretation or
Nothing.
Nothing.
nothing? Okay.
Nothing at all. No, no, no. What happens is this. That is something I is already finished and I published the ebook for now. I started writing that story 2 years ago in my free time. I have to link this to the fact that for 18 years, I have been working freelance on the side with a literary author, Patricia Ekenrode, and I guess I got knowledge from her about how to write fiction. And this story that I wrote is not fiction; it's a real story, but it's considered fiction because dogs don't speak, and in my story, dogs do. So it is a tribute to the joy and love and friendship that stays with you, and the characters is personified by Rusty and Heidi, my beloved dogs, who they changed my life. So they gave me so many things to write about, and I said I have to write this. I have to apply what I have learned. But this is something close to my heart, for which I did not need schooling. Really, it's just something that came naturally. And Lingua Mia Press also came naturally as a branch of Lingua Mia, as a way to give voice and sponsorship to the books I'm writing, because I like to write. The thing is, before I was always an employee and I never had the time to do it, but I do have now all the time.
Oh, cool. Now, at the beginning of our podcast, you were talking about how intimidating a court setting is, and I can relate just from doing like mock trials and when I'm doing conference interpretation and that kind of thing. Is that what inspired you to become a mentor? Is that intimidation factor that comes with being in a court setting?
Yes, yes, that's a good point because I know how it feels to try to be a court interpreter. That would be like a roadblock at the beginning. Oh no, they go try doing that 20 hours of observation, and if they see it too intimidating, they probably lose courage. And no, that's why I'm here, because I went through that and I didn't care. I said, this is intimidated, but I want to do it and I
Hmm.
want to learn more about this because it's fascinating. If you think about that and you immerse into it, it is fascinating. And it's not for
Oh yeah.
everyone. I know. Everyone has an area. You guys do conference, right? And others do judicial and others do medical. So we all have an area.
What would you say is the main trait that you need to have in order to be a good court interpreter?
Main trait, the ability to always be learning and always stay calm because there are going to be very intense situations in court. And there is a lot involved, but court interpreters or any interpreter have to be constantly learning vocabulary, especially, and the ability to apply professional ethics, because that's what is going to come up when we are in court. We need to know what to do in this situation or in the other. We need to be able to learn how to navigate that.
Cool. I feel like we should get a T-shirt that says "Stay calm and interpret on" or something like that, because it's so true. The whole calm aspect. Like if you start panicking in conference interpretation too, like you're gonna make some mistakes, and so it's so important just to remain calm and to keep interpreting and go with the flow and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, but if you're nervous, you don't listen.
no, yeah,
Exactly, exactly. That's another good point that you have to remember. Um, you have to focus, right? If you think at that moment of what you are going to have for dinner, you lost it. In
oh
a
yeah.
few seconds, in a split second, you lose what is going on. So we need to be able to stay focused.
Especially Alain, we're always thinking about food. So
Oh yeah, I'm always whenever Brian's trying to reach out to me, I was like, I'm cooking right now. I'm eating, or mostly I'm eating right now. Or
Yeah.
yeah. Now,
so,
go ahead, Alain.
please.
Okay, so the book, basically, is it about all the different procedures that exist in the courtroom, or is there also part of the mentorship that you give, or can you explain a bit what the book entails? And you said is it an ebook right now, or is it going to be published soon?
For corporate staff, I mean, for mentorship
Yeah.
for aspiring court interpreters, is that one is upcoming. It's not out yet,
Okay.
but it's soon to come. It's being reviewed at this point. The
Okay.
manuscript is being reviewed, and once my last reviewer finishes, then I will publish it.
Now, I think I saw on was it today on LinkedIn that you put the cover?
Yes, yesterday.
Ah, okay.
Because
Yesterday. Okay.
yeah, yeah, it's a coincidence that the timing went like this. That now it's almost ready. It's time to promote it for at least 2 weeks, and I want to let people know that they do have a guide, and including even for other mentors, they can use it to follow the structure that that they need to share with
Mhm.
their mentees.
And is it a guide specifically for your jurisdiction in Florida, or is it something that even us in Canada could use?
Yeah, I would say for the United States, I don't know how the judicial system is in Canada. If it is similar to the one in the US, it would work. Yes, that's why I wrote it for anyone in this country. If Canada has the same system as we do, it could work. Yeah. But I tell my students in the book that there are certain laws that may be different from state to state.
Mhm.
They will have to double check that part. But basically, because of the reciprocity that there is um, in court interpreting, then it applies to any state. Yeah. The
Yeah.
principles, the
Oh,
ethics, vocabulary, all that applies.
I think that the biggest difference between Canada and US is that in the US, I think you still use a gavel, right? We don't use gavels here.
Oh, interesting. We
Well,
use it a lot, yes. We use it as a logo sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, we have a bi-judicial system in Canada. So Quebec uses mostly the civil code and civil law, and
Yeah.
then the rest of the Canada, English-speaking Canada, uses common law. So that's a big difference, even within our own country. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
I will have
So
to look into that. But
yeah.
yeah,
But
there are things.
I do find a lot of the people who write books and are interpreters or translators are doing it for a public good. Like it's something that you've been wanting to give to your community for some time, and it's like you finally found the time to do it, I guess.
Yes, and as I learned this from Corinne McKay. I have to say this, by the way,
I
that
was thinking of her just now.
yeah,
That's what
I
came to mind.
I
Who also
I
launched a book.
Hmm.
yes, yes, and I had to let go of my job that I love in February
Oh
because
yes.
I lost a vocal cord in a surgery, so I um I had that desire to continue teaching. It was burning like a flame. Then I was free, totally free, 100% free now
Oh,
to do what? What am I going to do with this knowledge as a court interpreter and as a mentor? And then I came across her book, How to Succeed as a Freelance Translator.
And
Yeah, the other one, the
that's the
other
other
one.
one. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good, that must be a good, I haven't read that one, but as a freelance translator, I say, okay, I'm gonna have to do more translation than interpretation because I couldn't do simultaneous anymore. It felt like trying to run a marathon with one leg. And when I did simultaneous, I said, there is no way. And so I read her book, and that book spoke directly to me. It offered not only encouragement, but also practical steps to shape a freelance career. And that was the spark. I built my website, but after that, I knew what to do. I built my website in May, and I started in May, and and I started to create the resources that I knew uh, aspiring court interpreters need, and I posted them on the website how they are available. And I also thought about the book because I did have a program while I mentored to aspiring court interpreters in the judicial court. I said I'm gonna have to put this in writing, uh, available for anyone who needs it.
Well, yeah, you can let me know when it comes out. I will be one of your fellow purchasers or followers,
Thank
because
you, thank
yeah, everyone. I think I have books from pretty much everyone who's been on our podcast and have written a book. So
you. Oh, you gotta have them, yes. Yeah, I will post it on social media and
thank
we'll
you.
let you know. Yes.
we'll be able to put it also when the time comes in the description of this episode.
Yes, how to purchase it and yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Thanks.
All right, so we're hitting the end mark for this episode. It was quite interesting. I've learned a lot about court interpreting in Florida and mentorship. Look forward to reading either one or perhaps even both of your upcoming books.
Yeah,
All
it will,
right.
with Always Forever Friends, you will laugh and maybe you will shed a few tears. It is entertaining.
All right. Well, I
Awesome.
All right.
really look forward to reading it, and perhaps we'll be able to do even a book review when the time comes.
Yeah,
Thank you. I would appreciate that.
and thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone. So, once again, thank you for showing up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see each other some other time for another episode of Found in Interpretation Podcast. Thanks.